What's up, Neil?
Hey, Kal, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Season 2, episode 23. It's good to be back in the studio with you. Feels like it's been a long-ass time since we've been here.
It has. I think the last one was at least 5-6 weeks ago.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We had a couple of tailgates. We just did a remote one last time. So, yeah, it's good to be back and super excited to have Dave Rea with us.
What's happening, man?
What is up, dude?
What's going on? I'm digging this intro. This intro is awesome. I love this song.
And what song is this?
Present tense, baby.
Present tense, Pearl Jam. So, before we even get started, you all of a sudden became this huge Pearl Jam lover. You grew up through the grunge era when they were at the height of their popularity.
Yeah.
You decided, that ain't for me. I'm more of a Milli Vanilli type guy.
No,
So
that's
then
not exactly
you don't follow
what
him, but
happened,
just
Kal.
last winter. No. So how the hell did you become Pearl Jam super fan out
Like
of
a
nowhere?
lot of Italian families, we always would get things, 2 years later. Like when Atari came out, we were still on the game before, stuff like that.
He's playing
And,
Pong.
so I've always been late to the game. Now, I do know that when grunge first started, I was what's this? Like trying to take over rock and roll, whatever. But
Yes.
it grew on me, it did. And I've always enjoyed their music. But over the winter, I saw a couple of videos from back in the 91, 92 Pink Pop. What are those
Festival.
things? Festival, yeah, the Pink Pop. And I'm watching this dude climb all over the place and just rocking out, and the crowd just going berserk. And I was mesmerized with it, and I'm like, I got to see these guys. And we have another story, actually.
Yeah, we'll
was
get to
Pearl
that
Jam.
one.
Yeah, but so been paying a lot of attention to Pearl Jam. It pretty much stays on my car along with other bands that I like U2 and which is weird. Another thing I became late to is Bruce Springsteen, which is it used to be played so much. I just think it was I didn't really appreciate him, and then you see these hour programs.
I didn't either. Real quick, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
I liked him when and then I kind of didn't like him, and then I
I appreciate
him
him,
more.
right? Yeah,
So
it's just,
he is
he's
not
incredible.
my boss. I will tell you that much.
Okay, that's cool.
No,
I get it.
But I do appreciate it, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, the guy's an icon.
Yep.
And, I would never see him now, but I got to imagine seeing him like late 80s. Had to
Yeah.
have been something fucking. You ever see him live?
So I've never seen him live. We had an opportunity a few years ago, and I'm not going to lie. I think the tickets were $600 a piece.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, usually I don't mind spending a little money, but I just thought that was a bit too much. But so they have a large stage with a large band that trumpets and everything. It's a show,
Right.
right? And then knowing his back history, how he came up and everything, knowing about him and his music, kind of projected differently on me. So
It always helps when you
Yeah.
kind of know the story behind stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of get to know the person a little more.
there's an opposite story to that too, though. Like Bruce Dickinson. That guy's an A-type. He flies the plane for Iron Maiden. He does the
Right.
cooking, handles the craft. I don't want to know that about him. You know what I mean? Opposite effect. Like I
Right.
want him to just be who he
Total-
was.
right. Just a badass
So
lead
sometimes
singer
these
for Iron Maiden.
VH1 shows and these other, streams about learning about bands kinds of mess you up.
Right.
But
There's something to be said about that. Like, I may listen to a song and you have this picture of the band,
Yes.
right? As they're singing in your
Yeah.
mind. And then all of a sudden you see them on TV and you're like, wow, these guys are nothing like I thought. It almost turns you off to them.
perfect
which
example,
Is
the band Kiss.
Yeah.
When they had the makeup.
weird. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's who they were. And then the first time you were on a bus going to elementary school, remember? And you heard, oh my God, they're going to be on TV with their makeup off. And that's how they showed their faces to the world. They did a TV
that's
show
right.
for it. And they're like, oh, that's what they look like. Gene Simmons, to me, he was God. And then he took his makeup off, and I'm like, holy
Fucking gremlin.
what's going on there, man?
You know what's funny? Because when they
He could walk into a wall with a boner and break his nose. You know what I mean? That guy,
Hideous.
he's not,
And
But,
when that actually came out, they had all the pictures of them.
yeah.
And they actually had Gene's picture with Paul's name under it, and Paul's picture with Gene.
Oh, you talking about the live album?
No, well,
The four corner?
no, when they showed the without the makeup in the newspaper, and they had the wrong names. I'm like,
so you
know that that still bothers Gene to this day, and he probably sued someone over it.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
That dude is.
We still didn't know who they were with their makeup off.
Right.
He is. He's a character for sure, man.
Hey, I wanted to mention something real fast.
Yeah.
Right before we started tonight, Kal gave me these stickers, and I thought like I had like a homework project or something. I'm like, I'm looking at him. You know, I'm not saying thank you to him or anything. I'm just like, I thought, what do you want me to do with these? He's like, no, they're for you. Take them home. Just thought I'd share that.
You know what?
People like stickers.
I look. I'm a little kid. I got a parrot right here. Okay.
Yeah. What's your
That's
parrot's
Sonny,
name?
by the way.
Sonny.
Sonny. He's the star of the show.
What the hell is the deal with Sonny?
Sonny is. I think what happened was that there were things I wanted to say to my wife. Through trials and tribulations and stuff, right?
Sure.
And I would go outside and practice on the puppet to see how it sounded. Next thing you know,
You got a buddy.
I got a buddy. My buddy Sonny.
That's hilarious. So, going back, we've actually known each other for quite some time.
Absolutely.
Now, we both went to Churchill, but
Correct. I
You
graduated 87.
okay, so I was 93, so you're like 6 years older.
Yeah.
So we never crossed paths.
A little bit in soccer.
But yeah, when
Right.
Marauders. So I
Yes.
started playing at 16.
Yeah.
So you would have been in your 20s playing with Venom, right?
I was with Venom. You were with the Marauders.
But we were like brother teams almost.
Yeah.
We'd always hang out after
Yeah,
the
it was
games.
the same group of guys,
Uh-huh.
right? Some guys were a little better than the others. Yeah, so
Those are fun fucking times. Hanging
I
out at
actually,
the
I don't
lake.
know if, I'm sure you recall, during those days, I went to your guys' practices.
Yes. No, I remember.
Yeah, we were
You're always
we were
around.
boys. Both teams were
Oh, yeah.
boys. Like we had a couple other guys who come to your guys' practices as well.
Yeah, you come and just play.
You know,
It was,
but no, it was. Well, listen,
that's pretty
let's
cool,
talk
actually.
about that for just a second because I think it's important to understand.
Would love to.
We had Gentili and Lars. These are guys that played somewhat professional, and I got to practice with these guys, and plus they were my friends. So
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
And you know what?
Those days,
and so
I
many
love
of us
those
still
days.
friends to this day. You
Yeah.
know? But those would be awesome. Like you said, we'd practice, or then we'd always have the Sunday games.
Yeah.
And if we didn't play against each other, we were always at the same field, one after another. We'd all
Yep.
hang out
Hanging
after,
out at the,
watch each other's
with the
games,
coffin,
drink beer.
the cooler,
Oh, yeah, the coffin.
coffin.
Quite unique.
7 minutes to get cold on ice. John Pedersen, 7 minutes.
Okay, you brought that up. I'm going to teach you guys something. If you take a beer and put your hand in the cooler and ice and rotate it, that 7 minutes that he was just talking about now turns into 1 minute.
Wow.
So you can actually make a beer
60
cold in 60 seconds, but you got to rotate it and rotate it and rotate
No
it.
kidding.
Huh.
Yeah. I thought I'd share something with you
I
guys.
appreciate that. I think
We always
all
learn
our
something.
fans will
And now
love
you
that.
know.
They don't know if I'm telling the truth, but
No, I don't even give a shit.
yeah.
Hell, Paul's still spreading the rumor about Cass Elliott choking on a ham sandwich. Mama Cass.
Yep. Cast.
But we did go to the Googler. It sounds like that wasn't true. We don't believe that it was a ham sandwich that got her.
I still don't believe.
We were not sure about the dumping part either, so we got Paul checking on that. We'll get back to everyone.
And Paul, like always, taking 34 years to figure it out.
But yeah, so that was awesome. One thing I do remember.
Just kidding, Paul.
One thing I do remember about playing it, you used to love trying the bicycle kick.
So
My question for you is, did you ever land one?
I've gotten 2 goals.
Awesome.
I got 2 goals and one almost against you guys that would have turned the place upside down.
Did I save it?
You know who walked up to me after that game? No, actually, Jex was in net.
Oh, Colin.
Yep. And it was across from my best friend, Brad Mace, with a red soccer ball.
Brad.
I got a red soccer ball coming at me, and it's perfect for the bicycle kick.
You're
But I've been-
left-footed, right?
Yeah. I'm playing left side. Ball's coming, so I'm going to be able to use my right leg for the bike. I tag it really well and misses the upper left corner by about this much with a big hook on it. Nick O'Shea walked out on the field during the game, true story, and said to me, "That's the best shot I've ever seen in my life."
It's awesome.
But there's a backstory. The reason I told that story is not to brag about the shot.
Not at all.
He asked me that, do I like bicycle kicks? I used to walk wherever I was with a soccer ball, and I would throw it up in the air and practice doing the bicycle kick. I loved it so much. Wow. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, right? Wherever I was, if I was at my brother's game, I'd be walking the sidelines just bouncing off the ground doing bikes all day. So that moment with Brad, my best buddy, with the red ball coming at me, and that shot and what Nick O'Shea said was bad.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool that you have a story about your best shot. I'm going to tell my story.
All right.
Excuse me. I've had 2 really good shots. You even said that you had 2 best bicycle shots, right?
2 goals from
goals.
bicycles.
2 goals, yeah.
One was indoor, if that counts. Well, give me a half a point for that.
No, indoor counts.
One
then,
that
it was a
missed,
game.
and then
The net is
one
smaller.
that I made. High school, the one that I made, I just cut in outside the 18 and I just fucking ripped one. And when you rip one, you know when you hit
the
one.
second it goes off the foot.
Yeah, and I'm like, holy crap. And I'm like, I hit it really well. And I went, so this night, I didn't go far side. I was left side of the 18 and I went, and I hit it right there.
Near side.
And I,
side,
yeah,
upper net.
and I
That's
went
one
to
of the
myself,
toughest
I'm
shots
like,
to
holy
save.
fuck.
Rock.
I can't even believe I just did that. It
was a rocket.
Scored. Nobody even knew it was a goal, I'm like, holy hell. And then the one that I missed was it wasn't a bicycle, but it was outside the right here, and I volleyed one, and I hit the top over here. Both. It was, and it bounced out, yeah. So, I know it's not going to come well, but, I mean, I like that you said we have a
Well,
shot
since we're
that
talking,
We have worse moments also.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking A.
Is that where you were going?
I can tell you about plenty of nutmegs I've had,
Right.
Like,
I'm talking about the attempts of bicycle kicks that I've missed.
oh, absolutely. That's kind of what I was referring to. Those are the ones I remember.
And
I'm sure.
and a red card from attempting it. Yes, so kicking somebody in the face is not good.
But since you guys shared, I will share probably the one save that sticks out the most in my mind. I'll actually say 2, but the first one is Butler, and I think it was our junior year at UAD.
I couldn't believe
And
this. I was right there. I'm like,
I'm at the left, cross comes in this way, so I'm tracking it, and then the dude heads it back this way, and I just threw my arm up and saved it.
it was.
And
incredible.
I still, to this day, I have no idea how I did it. It was all reactions. I can't believe my arm was long enough.
So this is
and
awesome.
then we were down 1-0, I think. There was something like 13 seconds left in the game. I get the ball, and I just punt it like a fucking madman. Just run, punt. Dude gets it, crosses it, heads it in. 5 seconds left in the game. We tied it up. It was
That is awesome.
And that was our biggest rival.
That's awesome.
So Alan Plasek and all you other guys, that's for you. I remember that game.
Oh, yeah.
Some battles worked out to a draw that day, but it definitely felt like we stole one from them.
We just took a collection of all of our soccer thoughts throughout our youth and gave our best moments. And it's cool when I know how long all of us played for over 25 years minimum, right? Mm-hmm. Getting to hear that story, actually. I think that's actually a pretty cool thing. Mm-hmm. Your best moment. And then there's your worst moments. Oh, and I don't mind telling you. Being the 6th man in penalty kicks, not that fun.
No.
It's the tournament that they used to play over at Schoolcraft College, 4th of July. What was it called?
Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Yeah.
6th man, right? I'm 6th man. I miss. We lose. Right?
How old are you?
Pulling up. God, this had to be probably when I was 15 or 16.
Okay. So you're, okay.
Yep.
Not like you're 9.
Right.
You're 15,
And, my penalty kick career is probably a little better than 50%. Not that great, right? I wasn't that great at them. Anyways, I did score on Shook, though, in Ann Arbor.
Nice.
Sorry, Shook. Where was I going with that thought? Oh, yeah, that's one of the worst moments that I had in soccer. And as I'm pulling out of the parking lot, the littlest guy on our team was pulling out, so I must have been 16 because I was driving. Kid's name was Sawicki. Smallest kid on our team.
Aaron Sawicki.
And he mouths the words, "Nice shot, asshole," through, I could read his lips. He had his window up, but I could read what he said, and I'm like, and that's going to stick with me forever, so that sucks. But, that was a tough one.
Yeah, we definitely
I've
have
had
those.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've had where I missed a PK and I'm like, oh my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say you're probably one that sticks with you the longest is probably a game that we played in together against Butler.
Well, speaking of PKs,
The clear.
I mean, Kal, you're a goalie. You have a
Right.
great goalie moment from a PK that like saved a tournament or anything like that throughout.
As
the
a
years?
matter of fact, I do.
There we go.
So, senior year.
Color commentary as well.
So, when we went to UAD, my freshman year was the second year of Morris coaching there.
Yeah.
Louis had started the program about 6 years earlier, did a great job getting it going and everything. But then Morris took over a year before I got there. And 2 years before I got there, I think their overall record was like 2-13-2.
Okay.
Morris got there. I think they improved like 7-11-3, something like that. My freshman year, a whole bunch of us showed up there. And we went 16-4-3 freshman year. We
Nice.
lost in the tournament final, conference tournament final to Notre Dame.
The Basilica.
Yeah,
Notre
it was
Dame,
a tough one.
The Dome.
Fuck that shit.
Sophomore year, we went 8-4. I actually missed about 5 games with a groin injury. And we lost in the...
Was that the MC Hammer era? Were you like trying to dance or
No.
something and you hurt yourself?
No, but I hurt it taking a goal kick because I never used to stretch. And then from that point forward, I never took goal kicks. As a college goalie, I never took goal kicks for like
Why would you?
fucking 3 years. But anyway, we
Goal
lost.
kicks now, you can kick it from anywhere in the box.
We
What
won
do you
in
think about that?
the-
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
The first round of that conference tournament, my sophomore year, we won in a shootout.
You remember you had to put it right on the 6 to kick the goal kick?
Oh,
It
yeah.
has to be. You
And
can't
you
be a
had-
half yard before.
And it had to go outside the 18 before
Yeah.
someone
I
could
just thought I'd
touch it.
interrupt you
Yes.
for the next 10 minutes. Sorry about that.
Fucking worst
Continue.
fucking rules ever.
Yes.
But then we lost in the semifinals in sudden death overtime. The goalie from the other team took a free kick from about 18 yards out and scored on me off a deflection because the dude could kick it harder than anyone known the
What was
man.
team? Against two. Against two.
That was that.
That was Wisconsin Milwaukee.
Fuck you,
Which will come back. Junior year, 13-6-2. We lost in the conference tournament final to Butler in overtime, 5-2.
Bullshit.
And then finally, senior year, right? You know, it's make or break.
we have a build up here, and I'm enjoying it.
We end up on the year 14-4-4. We beat. So you asked like some boners that you pulled, right?
Yeah.
So first game of the MCC tournament Horizon. Now we're playing Loyola, and simple shot straight into me, but it's pretty hard. So I go down to do like the forward dive.
Yeah.
And I go down like this, and it slips through my arms, slips through my legs, right in the goal, and we're down 1-0. And then we ended up tying it, and then pretty late, Mike Geese scored a goal, and we ended up winning 2-1. And I'm like, oh my god,
Thank God.
he saved
He
my
saved you.
whole fucking
Yeah.
career, right?
Oh, wow. We could probably talk an hour about that, too.
So, semifinal game is against Milwaukee, who is easily our number 2 rival behind Butler. We had beaten them at home 1-0 earlier in the year. It's semifinals. I mean,
They're good.
They're a great team.
Eh.
And it's early November. It's snowing at the beginning of the game. We go through and it's 1-1 after 90. 15 minutes, no sudden death, still 1-1. 15 minutes of sudden death, still 1-1.
Wow.
So we've played 150 minutes at this point.
Yep.
Between both teams,
I don't like to do anything for 10 minutes.
right.
Yeah,
But
150
between
minutes.
both teams, there was 88 fouls in the game. Each team had 44. Because I saw the stat sheet and it would go, 1, 2, 3, and you would
That's
cross them
not
off,
good
right?
soccer.
You know that has to be a world
They,
record, right?
they crossed off 40 and had to write in 41, 42, 43, and 44 and cross them out because there wasn't enough. There was 88 fouls in the game. It was a
88 fouls in
bloodbath.
any game.
So it goes to a shootout. And both teams make the first 2. They make their third. Dario Raucher missed.
Yeah.
He missed the third. They make their fourth. Every one of them, I'm going the right way.
Yeah.
They're great shots.
That's good. You have to save one now.
Yes.
They make their fourth. We make our fourth. So now it comes down their 5th shooter. This
Has to
dude
miss.
was like first team, all MCCs, a senior. I'm getting ready. And by this time, we were the first game. So the game after us is waiting like another fucking 2 hours to play.
God.
So now the crowd's like massive.
I
swelling.
would have went and got a sandwich at Subway. But
So I'm sitting ready for the shot, and my whole thing is I stay in the line, and I watch the person walking up from way out. I watch them walk the whole time.
Yep.
I watch them pick up the ball. I watch them set. I don't do all the fucking crazy goalie shit because if you actually watch, they're going to tell you where they go. Mm-hmm. Almost 100% of the time.
Holy shit. This is news that can make us a lot of money.
So then I was very good at PKs.
Amazing.
So then he's coming up. I'm watching. He's setting the ball. All of a sudden, someone from the crowd screams, "How nervous are you, goalie?"
That's what he says to you?
Not someone from the crowd yelled it.
Oh. Did you say, I already know which way he's going?
Nope. So I'm ready. He runs up to the ball. I'm already leaning to my right. And his shot so bad, I actually saved it here as I'm like diving, right?
Wow.
So I get up, I immediately turn to the crowd, and I pointed to myself like this and said, "How nervous do I look now, bitch?" Boom.
Sweet.
Drop the, I'll say mic. Drop the mic.
So then Scott Foraker, though, had to step up for
You're not
us.
supposed to say drop the mic when there's a mic on the table. Sorry about that.
Isn't that the biggest mic you've ever used, though?
This is good. This mic is so big that I was
So
wondering if I
bulbous.
was supposed to do something else with it. You know,
So then, but
it would
Scott,
be good practice.
I think you can do it. I've seen it. No, but so Scott Foraker now has to step up, make our fifth to tie it, right? So he
Buries.
buries it. And then, so 6-shooter, back to where your position
Oh,
was.
God.
And their
horrible.
dude steps
I
up.
drive by that college, and that's all I think about.
He steps up. He's left-footed. He goes to my left. I actually catch the bitch and just throw it aside and just walk away. And then Adam Pickler steps up as a
Fucking
6-shooter
Pickler.
and fucking buried it.
Oh, nice.
Not
So-
that it matters, but if he didn't, I was the next shooter.
Yeah.
You were 7?
So Pickler buried it. We won. And then
Not
actually,
that I would have buried mine too.
due to events of the weekend, we had to come back the following weekend to Indianapolis, played Butler in the final again, and we actually beat them that time, went to the NCAA
That's
tournament.
2 great weekends in a row,
Yeah.
dude.
It's fun.
Highlight of my
Like,
soccer career.
2 dudes.
I went out. We went to the NCAA tournament, and I literally probably played 7 games after that. You know, I just was done. You
Yeah.
know, it got me what I wanted. I
Yeah.
had fun.
Yeah.
You know, my Marauders time was with you guys when I was like 16, 17, 18 years
Yeah.
old. So I was having
Yeah.
super much.
You were prepared for college.
Yeah, I was having,
Hang
but I
out
was
with
having
us.
fun with you guys. With, you know, by the time I was done playing with them, you guys were kind of
You
all
were
done
immune
playing,
to
you know?
alcohol by the time you went to college.
I was.
right?
My first party in Walled Lake, I was 16, and I had a Coke can that I was filling up with the keg. Because I didn't want anyone to see me actually drinking, you know. My mom and dad dropped me and Paul off there. We had to catch a ride home the next day. Go
No, you
figure.
bring a good point up about having to hide, you know, the drinking. I tried to hide smoking cigarettes. That's a horrible feeling to go back to. That's like thinking about dial-up porn. You know, like such a horrible thought to go back to. Like when I had to, everywhere you went, it couldn't just be your parents. I didn't want no one to know I smoke. Where the fuck are you gonna smoke outside? And you know, and no one's gonna see you.
Or the
right?
smell.
So that was the great day when I didn't give a, you know, my mom caught me. You want to hear how my mom caught me smoking? I was working at this restaurant sitting at the end of a bar, and she came 20 minutes. I took my break at the end of my shift so I could sit at the counter and have a smoke, wash up, have a cheeseburger, whatever, before my mom showed up, right? So my last 30 minutes of work is me just actually taking a break. My mom shows up 20 minutes early. I just finished the cheeseburger. I'm Newport Light, 16 years old.
Love
right?
it, man, Phil.
Yeah, she goes, and this is all she did. She said, "How long you been smoking?" That was it. She put her hand on my shoulder, and I looked. I'm like, "Oh God, how long you been smoking?" And she never said a word. Which, you know, she told me it was bad, but she didn't get angry and like,
Right.
you know. Anyways,
Which, you know what? At a certain point, you make your own decisions.
Right.
You
having
can sit and yell
to
at-
hide anything sucks unless
Oh,
it's
yeah.
money.
Absolutely.
You know, if it's money, it's fun hiding shit. You know what I mean? But if it's not money, then
So, we talked about the soccer days.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, we've stayed in touch. You see each other at,
Yeah.
you know, either weddings or this or that, but obviously not as much as we wish we would. But the one thing that blew my mind, because I hadn't seen you in a while, is you picked up comedy, which it doesn't surprise me, but what the hell, how'd this all happen?
I'm not exactly sure what happened. If I could backtrack for just a half a second
Yeah.
on that question. you had it was a good segue into saying we did have. You're saying we see each other once in a while. We did have an epic event over the summer.
Oh,
we're going to talk about that later.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I just figured that part out.
Yeah.
So I won't. So let's go back to the comedy.
See, we aren't very structured here. I like to keep loose notes.
It was
but
a
if
great
you notice,
segue moment.
If you notice, our little event happens to be right after what we're doing.
That's what this
That's
is for.
why we do notes.
I thought this was part of the school project with the stickers you gave me. I thought I didn't even know what this was.
Here,
right.
here, try to keep it in this line.
I threw you
I've
off.
done it
Sorry,
many times
dude.
on
I
that,
thought it was a
yeah.
good segue into what you said, but I figured afterwards that you want to talk about that later.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into that.
Comedy, real quick.
That's when we're really going to get into the meat of two dudes. So, but no, you.
How did I get involved in comedy? Well, about 2022, I go on a salmon fishing trip with Brad Mace and Brad Price from Golf League. Brad Price stayed at his cabin, right? And that I could do jokes about that entire day for 5 minutes, 10 minutes straight, no problem. But we spent the whole day together fishing, golfing, going out to lunch, going out to dinner, a lot of boozing that day. And then we end up in a bar before we're going home, and it's a karaoke bar. And there's about 4 people in the bar, right? Okay. So the girl's working, and there's nobody singing. I'm like, she's not making any money. Let me walk over there, you know. And, hey, let me give you a couple bucks, you know. You want? She goes, I get paid anyway. Do whatever you want. I go,
lady.
oh, all right. So she's getting paid anyways, right? I grab the mic. I turn around. I start doing jokes. Now listen, I've had 5 to 6 tall boys at golf. Dinner, we had drinks, and by the time I had the courage to walk up to the mic while we were in that bar that night, I probably had 7 or 8 Moscow mules. Okay,
doing jokes.
Okay, listen. So I'm starting to do jokes, and nobody's doing anything. No one's saying anything. No one's saying I can't do it, whatever. So I did like 10 minutes, whatever, just talking about the bar and stuff. I go sit back down. The place is starting to get a little bit more full now. And I'm starting to get a little more brave, right? So I go back up again. They have these deer all along the wall, right? Me and Brad Mike's getting this huge fight. He tells me it's a bad joke. I say, I think it's pretty funny. I'll let you guys decide. So the deer head surrounded the entire perimeter of this bar, right? I'm hammered, and I get up there. I grab the mic, and the first thing I say is, you guys ever wonder what happened to the other half of the deer? Yeah. So the joke was that, the joke was that who are the people who separate the deer?
Taxidermist.
The taxidermist, right? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, the processor
Yeah,
does all that.
My joke was that the taxidermist must have been gay, right? He took the back half, right? So I think this is hilarious. Okay, Neil likes it.
Funny. It's
Okay.
pretty funny.
And now I'm talking about the people in the. Here's the best part. Every time 2 new people walked in, I would say, I apologize, buy them a drink. I had a bar bill for $460 that night. I was up for over an hour and 45 minutes just doing one joke after another, talking about my mother and how our wedding was all screwed up because my mom messed it up. And people are just listening to me, and I'm getting laughs, right? And this is my very first time ever trying this. And Brad is off to the side videoing the whole thing, right, with Brad Price. Mm-hmm. And they're just in the background. All right. Anyways, the way that this night ends, we're the last ones in there, and they're telling us that we can't drive home. They have to. The bar staff was going to give us a ride home. So we had a day. Wow. It was a great day. So yeah, I basically ripped off a karaoke joint and made it into a comedy show.
Club,
yeah.
And you've never done anything like that before. You were
Never.
just fucking hammered.
Never. I was just
the
hammered.
liquid courage to get up there.
Okay. I should have prefaced with Joe, who owns Captain Joe. Shout out to Captain Joe.
Yes, absolutely.
Whitmore Lake. That's where I do a lot of my acts, or where our shows are at his place, actually. But yeah. So what was the point of?
Well, I was just gonna say. So how did you end up like getting hooked up with Captain Joe? I mean, you went from this just a night.
Oh yeah,
so 45
guys at the poker
Joe.
table. Hey, you should do comedy. Well, like, I get a little buzzed up, whatever, and I try to do jokes. You should try comedy. Whatever. Okay, so I heard that a few times throughout the years. Whatever, you should try comedy or whatever. Well, I know a guy named Sal D'Amelio who passed away last year. Not Sal. I'm sorry, his brother Frank D'Amelio. So Sal is the comedian.
Yep.
Who is who I work with. He invites me to his shows. But I knew his brother first, which was Frank. Frank was in the same business as me. We do concrete. And then one night I met Sal through Frank. And then Captain Joe knows Sal very well. And then that's how the three of us kind of, that's how we all kind of knew about each other, whatever. And Joe talked Sal into letting me do a show with him. And Sal, comedians are like, he thinks it's easy, probably. All right, go ahead and do as much time as you want. Yeah. Well, usually most people would have bombed after about a minute or two. But I had 3 months to prepare. Right. To go do my very first show, right? And he's telling me, do as much time as you want. Now, usually when you start, you get 5 minutes. The other comedians want to talk. Right. Yeah. So to have someone your very first time tell you can have as many minutes as you want, I did 23 and a half minutes.
Holy shit.
Yep. I had, there was 4 other comics going on after me. We have this videoed as well. And all in all, that night was really good. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of, I basically was scared to remember the lines of what joke in order. So I made my wife part of the joke where she held it. And, throughout the night, I'm like, all right, well, because I'm stupid, I don't know what my second joke is. And then my wife would scream out just the premise, and then I would go into that, right? Oh, yeah. So I made her part of the show. Nice. That whole table got to be part of the show. And all my friends were there, right? So that was really cool. That always helps, right? Yeah. And I have a million stories from... Yeah, we weren't I had a million stories from when we were younger and, a few marriage jokes. I mean, it wasn't... I should have been much more nervous.
No, right. But you know what? And everyone always says, oh, my God, you're so funny. People hear that all the time, but to actually go and do it. And actually, you're pretty well.
My leg would not stop shaking.
Oh, I can't imagine.
It was nerves.
Right leg,
and,
left leg.
I've done probably about 15 to 20 shows now, just at Captain Joe's. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, the more nervous I am before doing a show, like it's the December show where it's always packed, right? We usually sell out, but sometimes we'll put like an extra 20 in there. And the nervous nights were the best nights. Uh-huh. It's like the energy actually worked. Mm-hmm. Like it was kind of cool. I was like, and the days I thought I had it, driving there going, I got it tonight. Those were my worst. I mean, for me, I think they're my worst one.
It's funny thing because I've heard comics say like, "Dude, I bombed. I totally bombed," and it wasn't because of them, but maybe the energy of the crowd or whatever.
The crowd plays a huge role. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what I think.
Same with music, though. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing the impact a crowd can have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And depending on the artist, though, like you as a comedian, if you're engaging them and that, you have a better chance than the guy that just stands up there and rips off a bunch. Like a Stephen Wright, he's hilarious, but he's not really engaging. You really have to be special to do something like that. So, do you do what about? Is it about a show a month at Captain Joe's typically, or?
Yeah. So there's been since 2022, there's only been 3 months that we had 2 shows in a month.
Oh, wow.
Should I repeat that? All right. And then the rest of the shows have been 1 a month.
1 a month.
We do take a little time off in the summer because people are on their boats and on vacations and stuff, and it just doesn't seem to be worth it. Which sucks because I want to keep doing it.
Right.
So my first show is coming up September 27th.
But you know what? You need a break, too. You have to, I love two
material.
Dudes. You're right. I love two dudes, material. But you know what? It's like we're kind of winding down season 2, and it's going to be nice to have a couple months off, where we don't do nothing. And still go to shows and do whatever. But, I think it only gives you time to refresh, but it also gives the people wanting you more, right? Oh, man, I wish it was another one. You can all 10 of them out there. They wish they had another episode, but hey, we'll get you. Don't worry.
Yeah, and reflecting is probably good to have that time as well. Uh-huh. Taking in
lessons learned,
jokes that you've done, or how could it be better? Mm-hmm. Like I only got a month. Do I really want to try and recreate something here? Like
right?
Because I'm working too. It's not like
right.
But but when you have time off, so I've had these 3 months off. I got a list of notes in my phone of premises that I want to talk about. And,
that's awesome.
And stuff like that. So,
which it seems like every time you have one, I have something else conflicting get in the way. So I can't wait to get out to see a show there. Yeah. I have talked to Joe there, Great guy.
Yeah.
I'd never actually been into that place, dude, until I walked in that one afternoon.
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere in Whitmore Lake.
Well,
off
and
of 23.
it's very unassuming. You're driving down the freeway and you just see like this little sign, but then you pull up and this place is actually like kind of amazing. It's got this awesome outdoor area. It's right on pretty much the lake.
You're bringing up a lot of good points. Yeah, he has the outside patio, which is beautiful. He's got the metal rail gates that most Italians like at their homes.
Yep.
With the white rocks.
Yep.
But besides that, his food's outstanding.
Yes.
Mediterranean is just
Food's great. He has
it's really good.
Kind of a little special, the banquet room or whatever, which I think that's where you guys.
Yeah. So there's
right?
it looks like a little nightclub. It's got like the lasers on the wall and got a bar in the back and a stage. And
a really cool place.
Yeah.
I was super impressed walking in there, to be honest, because like I said, I've never been, and you see it from the freeway, it almost looks like a truck stop place.
People might see us there one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
We did talk about that, and it's something that I definitely want to do, like a show, almost similar to what you guys do, a comedy show, but we have a podcast at a place where people show up, get drinks.
You can do Kill Tony style with music.
Bring up randos on, and just talk about shows or whatever they've been to. And I did talk to Joe about it. He was on board. We've talked about it.
Maybe do like an opener.
I think that's probably, what would be sweet is like for season 3, an opener to do something like that, because it'd probably be around the January or something time frame. This summer's been fucking insane, dude.
November 1st, I'm out of work, so I'm down for the next 5.5 months.
Okay.
I would love to
So
participate.
I think
in
we
any way
need to
possible.
talk more about how we can do that and kind of the format and everything, because I think we put our brains together, we'll come up with something, or at least a full brain. So
Yeah. A little brainstorming.
absolutely.
Brainstorming.
So no, I didn't remember talking to you when we went and saw Nora and your brother, Grand Circus at the Token.
Yes.
And that was the first time you told me the story about going into comedy and everything.
Yep.
And, we started doing this around the same time. It was April 23. So it was like, I've been kind of watching you. I think you've been kind of watching us. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're liking each other every time.
Right.
Trying to get
I haven't.
Yep.
Well, I haven't had passion like this in soccer. And there was just something that was kind of missing. I like golf, I like bowling, but I'm not committed to that shit, and I'm so far away from that. So then when I started thinking about this, and it meant I was going to hang out with Neil, people like you come over, and other people, so it actually has helped me a shit ton of just getting off my ass and reconnecting with people. It's awesome. Which brings us to our next topic.
Okay.
So we haven't talked about music at all, but that's okay. But we did have a fucking incredible event in April.
Absolutely.
So I remember how this all went down.
Speak to the people, Cal.
We have our Two Dudes and Live Tunes group on Facebook, which we use to post our videos. Group members can post theirs, whatever, pictures. We have concert updates. These people are selling tickets, blah, 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 whatever. The one thing I stay away from is all that other stupid shit, memes and all that. I don't care about that. Go to any other one and find that.
Okay.
But anyway, so I posted about Black Crows were coming on, of all days, April 20th of 24.
Which is like my first day of work.
Yep. And you were like...
Weekend.
You go, I'm in. And your words to me was... I don't deal with anything online, so you buy the tickets. Me, you, Neil, and Brad are going.
And I'll pay for them.
And I'll pay for them. I'm like, all right, well, you don't have to fucking twist my arm.
Cal almost forgot that part.
No, fuck, I would never forget that part. Just like I won't forget when we showed up at your house. Next thing you know, here comes a fucking limo to take.
Well, listen.
It was like, 7, 8 of us to go there?
You mentioned our age a few minutes ago, and we're older, and having to drive down there and do what I wanted to do was not a good idea. So I thought, let's. I got a buddy who owns a limousine place, and
you can give him a shout out if you'd like.
Hard Rock out in Canton, I believe. Canton Plymouth. I'm sorry, Plymouth. But anyways, so we got the limo. You guys showed up to the house. I asked that you guys show up about 30 minutes early. We had a signature drink made. Don't ask me what was in it, because Kristen did it, my wife.
Yep.
But
Saint.
You know where I got into these signature drinks from? I went to a wedding a few years ago, and then it was signature. What's signature drink? Oh no, it's just the drink that we're gonna serve you. I'd never been to like.
Right.
Whatever was in it. It was like whiskey mixed with like lemonade and something else, right? One of those weird ones. Like I can't remember what it is. Signature. Like grenadine. I always forget grenadine. Whatever. But
I don't even like grenadine. Is it an alcohol? It's not even an alcohol.
I don't like. I'm saying it was one of those.
No, I know, but it's one of those weird things that
like
triple sec. What the fuck is triple sec?
It's like one of those drinks you walk around Jamaica with all day.
Right.
Whatever. Yep. So yeah. And I forgot why I'm telling this story.
No,
you're talking about the signature drink before we went.
Right. That's how the signature drink came up. Yeah. So
one thing I think is funny is like for a night like that, your wife no interest in going whatsoever.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the Black Rose concert.
Yeah,
right?
like my wife.
Yeah,
like
it's an all boys thing.
We do something like that. My wife's like, nope, have fun.
So us four were going, and then I found out my brother was going with Joe Nora, who's been on the show before as well.
Actually, no, your brother's been on the show now.
Steve has been also.
We did a tailgate at Comerica for the Smashing Pumpkins. Green
so this was recent then,
and he was there with his kid.
All right, so both of them have been on the show,
and he was on. Yep.
Yep.
Nora had his full episode, but. Yep. What I said to your brother was, Steve, doesn't matter. Tailgate, you're on it. It counts.
Yeah, absolutely. So we knew we were going. Joe and my brother were going. So I told them, why don't you come with us, right? And then we can all hang out because I knew our seats weren't going to be together. So I wanted us to be able to.
Yeah, they
hang
had
out.
Seats. We were main floor. Yeah. I got main floor tickets.
Right, and Joe had the choice of main or he likes being up there. He was.
I don't blame
him.
I don't blame him.
But anyways, we got to spend a lot of time together that night. Which
that was amazing. We went to, what was it called?
Yeah.
Was it Brass Rail, the pizza place or whatever?
Fillmore. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep, we went there.
Went there, had some beers.
The concert was so good, I forgot about that.
Heck, and all I remember, so it was awesome.
The concert was
I got to give a shout out to Brad because my wife dropped me off at Brad's house because he lives in Howell as well. He drove me there, which was super cool. To be honest, like, I've always known Brad. Me and Brad, I will always say we're friends, but it's kind of weird, like, being one-on-one with Brad for me. He's older. I was never super close with him, but it was super awesome.
Well, he's somewhat intimidating.
Yeah, it's just...
He's just like a big brain walking around.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, and then
he already knows what you're thinking, and he already knows what you're going to say before you say it. Just ask him.
I have that mentality that, like, like Brad.
You're not going to let me rip on Brad Mace for 5 minutes here? Come on, dude. Let me go here. He's just like a big brain. Look at his heat. Look at his.
It's like an orange on a toothpick.
Like, if you want to know something, just look at the side of Brad's head. It's in there. It'll tell you.
But no, I always kind of looked at some of these guys as like Paul's friends, but actually over the years, obviously I created bonds with everyone too. It's just, anyway, had a great time driving with him and catching up with him because I haven't seen him. He hasn't been in our fantasy football league. I'm not in the golf league anymore.
It was a great night.
So I had no responsibility. I was dropped off. He drove me. Limo. Nora made the reservations for food. Brad took entire ownership of ordering everything. Yeah. He's like, we need this pizza, that pizza. We're going to have some bread, the appetizers. And everyone's like, blah, blah, blah. And finally, Brad's like, fuck it, and made the decision, orders it all. And we end up with so much food.
Yeah.
Which turned out great when you come back to the limo after the show. But I want to get into the show, Black Crowes.
Come on.
That was fucking amazing.
Chris Robinson is a performer.
Yeah.
And he has that vanity mirror behind him. To watch
hilarious.
himself, which I actually encourage because if I looked that badass doing what he was doing, I'd want to watch myself do it too. Come on, man, that guy was awesome.
Seeing the brothers back together, I know. Speaking of brothers, I know my brother was pretty upset that he was excluded, which we're still not really sure how he felt he was supposed to be included.
Another part of the story.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't even included. Come on.
So I can't take blame for this. Okay?
No one can.
And I can't believe I'm about to say this on this show, but I said buy 4 tickets. You told me that for me and Neil, who was the 4th one again?
It was up to you. And then you said,
"Oh, Brad, yeah,
it was Brad."
Yeah, I thought Brad usually jumps in after I've done something.
So
that's why I didn't remember.
That was the thing was you told me buy. You just
so
go.
I said buy 4.
Well, that was what it was. He was like, "Hey, I want to."
Your responsibility to invite your brother.
Well, you said, "Hey, I want to go with you and Neil and 2 dudes." That was kind of what you said. And then you were like, "You just buy them, I'll reimburse you, and you know what? Just buy 4." And I took that as, well, buy 4. Me and Neil are covered. You wanted to just figure out someone else to go.
It's always Brad.
Right,
yeah,
right.
It's always Brad.
You got
Paul,
your
I'm sorry, dude.
You got your boy.
Paul, I love you.
And
I give you a great concrete deal.
I'll tell you what, when I won tickets on the radio for Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, I called Paul. When we went to Guns N' Roses, I called Paul. Yeah. But in this scenario, this was like a job. You were saying, "Hey, 2 dudes, let's go to this show together, and we're gonna just fucking experience it."
I thought you meant a job in the sense that I have to deal with your brother the next 8 weeks at Golf League.
No, that would have been
reminded me the first time. Every time I saw him for the very first second, he'd go, "Thanks for the ticket, Rea." And so that's what I bought all the tickets, and I had to go through hell. That's what happens when you do nice
you know what
shit
the
for
job
people.
would have been is if he would have went and have to babysit him because he would have drank way too much.
Well, the token a few weeks before that, that's what we did.
The perfect reason why Paul shouldn't have gone.
Put your head right here, Paul. Go ahead. We had to hold him up, dude.
I couldn't even get him out of the damn house. It
was high top tables,
go to the token.
I had to hold him up.
I'm like, dude, we got to meet Rea. Like, we're meeting him in the parking lot. We had a plan.
It was like high school in the parking lot. Yeah, I jumped into your car.
Right, and I'm like, Paul, we got to go. He's like, no, have fun. I'm like, no, dude. Like, I didn't want to come into the house. Yeah. But
what was funny about that was I was expecting you guys to be there already. So this is what happened, Neil. You'll like this. I'm there in the parking lot. I don't know.
Neil's with us.
I know.
Yeah,
I got it. Right. I was just pointing out to him that you're going to like this.
Yeah.
That I'm sitting in the parking lot going, I don't even know what kind of car they drive. Like, how do I know if they're here? Like, well, maybe they're inside already. So I thought you guys were there already. Yeah, so I go to walk out of my car. I walk in front, go into the street, and here comes this car barreling around the corner. Right? Tunes are jamming. Windows are open, and it's a bunch of assholes. And one car already passed me. I'm like, So... And it's you guys. And I'm like, oh, you guys. Yeah, so I backtrack now back to the parking lot, right? Jump in the vehicle with those guys, and I'll let Kal talk about the rest.
It's funny. You talk about whipping in. This actually reminds me.
That's exactly what happened. You guys whipped in.
We were talking about, Marauders and everything and, the fun times we had. So, Neil, I don't think you ever actually played with us, but at a certain point, once you were in college, you were home in the summers, you would hang out with us.
And I did play for Marauders one summer, 3 games. But,
your first introduction to a lot of people in that realm was, I believe, Dan O'Shea's golf outing for when he was getting married.
Oh, my God, what an epic day.
So, we show up. I will never forget this. We pull up.
Splat ball first.
That
morning.
I didn't do splat ball.
You didn't do the splat ball?
No, but I just remember showing up at the golf course, and there was a pyramid of 30 packs of Milwaukee's best. One for each cart. Not one for a foursome, it was one for each cart. So 15 beers apiece.
Oh my God, this brings up a Van Halen story. I can't wait.
And then all I remember is and then it was super fun. It was awesome. And I was me and you. I know Thomas was there, Jeff Thomas, for us. And I don't remember who the other one in our foursome was. But remember you had a bag. Yeah. And it would say hole 8. And you open the bag on hole 8.
You had instructions.
You had to wear the stuff or whatever. And there was all these different things. I'll never forget. It was hole 4. But me and Neil are already fucking hammered. We open up hole 4. And it was dresses.
Put dresses on.
By hole 18, me and Neil are still in the dresses. At one point, I will never forget, and it was on video.
You guys would have looked normal today.
Right.
If that could have happened yesterday, nobody would have thought anything.
Not even a thing. But if this was on video, and I remember, Neil falls out of the golf cart.
In that purple dress.
In your purple dress. And he's literally laying on the ground. Looks like he's half dead. And all I'm doing is doing circles around him in my golf cart. Non-stop.
Another dress.
Finally, we get him in. And it's the end of the day. And everyone's fucking hammered.
So you picked up Neil.
Oh, yeah. And we're bringing the golf carts in. And if you remember, the, owner of the course, whoever was the biggest person at the course that day.
General manager.
Was waiting for all of us to come in and just fucking hot.
It should have been a movie.
Screaming at us.
Yep. Should have been
And
an ending
as
to a movie.
he's screaming at us, I believe it was Peruzzi's girl. He's driving the golf cart, and I think she actually pinned that guy in between the golf cart and the wooden fence, like the cattle fence.
Oh no!
If
He was already as pissed as he could possibly be.
Oh my
and
God!
then that happened.
You will never be allowed back. Like, we're never coming back, bro. But thanks, we had a
Not
great
now.
time. That was like, but no, Neil's first time I think ever hanging out with everyone, and we all went back to. I think it was the house.
There was a 30-pack.
Middle Belt.
Oh yeah, JR's.
Yeah, JR
I
and
slept.
Doughboy and Newman
Yeah.
I passed
all
out.
live there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. We made sure you're in the weight room.
I peed.
I peed.
That was a great
Well,
bachelor.
that was the other. So
And I
Neil
was-
used to have a problem. He would drink a lot, and sometimes
I'd pee.
Yeah,
he would
yeah,
pee. So
okay.
we're at that house, and no one's ever met Neil, and he's fucking away. Everyone loved Neil. They're like, "Oh my God, he's hilarious." I'm
Oh,
like, I go, but
no.
Neil's passed out. I go, we need to get
But-
him to a place that if he does
Yes.
pee,
It was a good.
it's going to be okay. And JR's like, "Oh, right here in the weight room, over where the dog lays or whatever. We can put him right there." I'm like, that's fine. He don't care where he goes. Because the one time we were at Pine Knob, and we already talked about this, so I'm not divulging anything. It was a Horde Fest. And we were meeting Echon, I
Yeah.
believe. So back in 96, 98, whatever, going to Pine Knob, you couldn't just say, "Hey, I'm here," on a text.
Yeah, right. No, yeah.
We would call people on a
that's
fucking
How did we
landline.
find each other back then? I don't.
Well,
if you
I
took
still do
another
it to this
car-
day. If you go to Pine Knob and you come in and you're walking, going kind of right, and then the stage is on the left. You pass like all the rocks, and you have that
No,
rail.
it was a
We would
serious
always
question.
say the rail on the left, so everyone would just meet there.
Gotcha.
Well, Neil was literally passed
The
out
rail on
over
the
the
left.
rail. Our buddy Echon shows up. He's never met Neil. That was his first time.
Imagine that they knew to meet at the rail, and you
Yeah.
were hanging on the rail.
And-
Great.
Legs over one, body over the other, passed out. And finally, someone goes, "Hey, you're gonna have to get him out of here." I'm like, "Can we just lay him on the lawn?" They're like, "Yeah." So we took him literally like from the rail 4 feet over and just slopped on the lawn. All of a sudden, we look over, and this wet spot's just getting bigger and bigger on his fucking pants. And we're like, "Holy shit!" And now we're feeling horrible for him.
Neil's
so,
starting to melt.
so now we're acting like someone fell and spilled their water on him, so like, he doesn't feel bad when he wakes up. But he wakes up for, I think it was Bare Naked Ladies. Fucking tore it up. We have 2 cars. We're going home.
I just needed a nap.
Just needed a
And a
nap.
piss. apparently.
We're already back at the campground. Fire's gone. Here comes Neil's Cougar. And we're like, there's no way
I
Neil's
drove
driving
the
that thing. All of a sudden, that 1994 Cougar or whatever pulls up, and sure as shit, there's Neil behind the wheel. Just the right amount of recovery from that nap.
I can do it. I can do it.
And actually, what that told everyone was that was just the worst shape everyone was in. But he was fine. We made it. You know what? Different fucking time.
Yeah.
So, I know we've been not focusing on a lot of what we normally talk about here, but we're going to get into that now.
You want some music story?
Well, I'm going. What was the first concert you ever saw? Do you remember?
Oh, absolutely. God, this is a great story. Jay Giles,
Oh, no
1978.
shit.
It was either 78 or 79. It was in the summer. It was actually a labor.
How old? I'm sorry, but how old does that
I
put
was
you?
I was 10.
Holy shit!
I remember
nice.
being 10. So it must have been 79.
So Jay Giles at Pine Knob. You
Yeah.
said that'd be a cool show, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last song was Centerfold. Obviously, made everybody wait for it.
Yeah. So I went to a show last night. Frico and Royal Otis was the headliner, and they're known for a cover of "Linger" by Cranberries.
Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to?
Oh yeah. You guys did a good job of that.
Yeah, we're really good. No, which is what they're known for or whatever. And it was actually a really cool show. And
Where was it at?
It was at the Majestic.
Oh, nice.
So it's like 1,000, 1,500 people.
My daughter got married there. I got to see the building last year.
At the Majestic?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
At the theater?
Yep.
No shit, really?
No kidding.
Yep.
That's awesome. That is one of
there
my
a band
favorite
being
places to
played?
see a show ever.
They have a whole spot on the. Well, if you come in through the alleyway, which is where we brought it,
Mm-hmm.
it would be to the west. The whole west side of the building is like for weddings and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, that whole like block pretty much is like the
Yeah.
Majestic.
Yeah.
You know, they have the theater, the
Gotcha.
bowling alley, Magic Stick,
Yes.
and everything else right there.
Yeah, it was
I
beautiful.
love it. That area is sweet. And what I never realized is, I mean, I'm horrible at directions. You know, I used to actually drive there before the Googler, and I would take like the 10 all the way to Jefferson. Actually, I'd get off at Larned before Jefferson. Up to Woodward, and then I would take Woodward all the way over because I had no idea, and I was like, "That's the only way I know how to go. This is how I'm going."
Listen,
and then the Googler's like, "Get off at Warren last night." I'm like, "Warren, oh my God, what's going on?"
It worked for you.
Right. Back then, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, and I'm horrible at the. You said west at that point.
I remember going down to Detroit when we were younger and not sure if I'd ever find the freeway again when it was time to come home. You're like, I hope I find, because you knew there was 3 of them down there.
Right.
So if you just kept driving around, you're like, and then you would remember something. Okay, now I know where to go. Right. But if you were going down to the middle somewhere, I had to be like, I have to, you need if there was a McDonald's on the corner because I'm fat. I remember, hey, from that McDonald's, I know which way to go. That type of thing.
Right.
But
I thought that when we went to Green Day, I had to drive home. I'm like, fuck, where do I go? But it's pretty good.
You work down there, so you got a good.
And there's pretty good signs now.
Yeah. The one that always screws me up.
Right,
you have to take like 75 south to get to 96 west.
Yeah.
And
if I passed that Rosa Park exit and was going down to where now I got to make a curve into the city, okay, that's when I get messed up. I'm like,
I'm not good.
Greektown's right down there. I know that. From Greektown, I can get home.
So we're going to go back to the Black Crowes. Did you have a killer tune from that night? One you wanted to hear, one you heard, one that just fucking blew you away? I know what mine is.
I know that's a great question, and I probably should have a good answer for that. I think the reason I don't is because I enjoy so many of their songs.
Right.
Right? Like, I know something good's coming.
Well,
right? So, do I have a favorite?
See, that's the thing is, whenever I talk about a killer tune, it doesn't have to be your favorite.
Yeah.
Like for me, it happened to be my favorite. All I wanted to see that night was Remedy live.
Yeah, Remedy was.
I haven't seen them since '91. I think.
Okay.
And that's been my favorite song forever. If it ever comes on, I mean, I'm fucking rocking to it. So I remember Nora was like, "What do you want to hear?" I said, "I don't care what I hear."
They went nuts when Remedy.
I knew I'd hear Remedy, but
Yeah.
as long as I hear Remedy, it's a great show for me. And for me, that was totally it.
But
it might be a song that, I mean, I've seen the Smashing Pumpkins like 12 fucking times, and I've probably heard Cherub Rock 20.
You're talking about something that brings something out of you?
Right. It might be. I've heard it 12 times, but you know what? Like this night, it hit different.
Okay,
was there a song that night that, I mean, one that could have been you were looking forward to, and it just was awesome, and that's what did it for you, or what? Dig a little deeper.
No,
here, Dave.
no. So I remember. I remember when we walked in that night being excited because I knew that it was going to be a really good show. And I knew that all of the songs I was going to know and that they all bring a different feeling to me, right? So you're asking about one song that brings a different feeling. I'm telling you, all his songs bring out something.
Right.
Sure.
When Remedy popped off the start, that place erupted. It was great. And I thought to myself, they still have four or five songs that are just as good as that.
Oh, yeah.
But people love Remedy. And I think it's probably the music.
Or
right?
when you heard that first part of, like, She Talks to Angels.
Yeah,
that
Angels
first on
is...
the acoustic.
No, that song's amazing.
Just those parts where... That's kind of what... When I say killer tunes, it could mean anything. It means different things to different people, right? Yeah. And for you, it was just walking in and...
They're a band that can do that.
Right.
Their list is long enough to entertain me for 2 hours.
And even their new stuff, like Bedside Manners and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it fucking holds up. It sounds like vintage.
How many bands
Black
do you think
Crowes.
there are that like when we were younger, it was Van Halen. Every Van Halen song was you just thought it was a great song. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was Ice Cream Man, and then there's Eruption.
Especially like the first three albums.
Or just one of the other ballads or something like 3 way different things, but all of them sound really good. Mm-hmm. And their sound is awesome too. The Crowes sound,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't mind.
It's funny because, we obviously post a bunch of video clips from concerts on YouTube.
Yeah.
The number one views are Black Crowes. Every time I post, in fact, the most we've ever had, like 9,200 views, is Remedy. And then everyone, I swear to God, I put Black Crows, it's guaranteed 1,000 views. I can put anything else out there, I'm getting 500 of that, but people love the fucking Black Crows.
They do.
And you know what? Because I think it's got the rock and roll roots, it's got kind of blues, it's got that southern aspect.
It's unique.
And those two brothers actually make something very special together.
You know who they remind me of a little bit in the sense?
Paul?
No, we're talking about how all their songs bring a different emotion out in you, and that. And I think it takes a pretty special band to do that. The band I'm about to mention, people who usually love them or just hate them.
U2.
It's U2,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So let's get
But I
into
think it's that guitar.
So like Forever 5, right? So I think we're kind of getting to that now, right? Deserted Island, you got 5 artists or bands, full catalog.
Yeah.
Which is, I always say, this is where like the Spotify's of the world help you because you're getting songs that you may have never even known existed.
Yeah.
So U2 would be on your list, I'm assuming. I've heard you talk about U2 before.
So yeah,
There's a
let's talk
certain
about the
strum
U2.
of the guitar, the opening to something, the way they do something in the middle of a song that brings out an emotion in music that we all enjoy, right? Just like the Crows, right? My point was that both bands, their sounds can be pretty different, but they do something for you.
Right.
My best nights on this earth with my buddy Brad has been at U2 concerts. We've been to
You guys went to Sphere, didn't you?
We went to the Sphere. It was incredible. I have some great video of that.
Nice.
That place is what you call next level, guys.
Well,
it's
but is the venue almost outclassed the artists? That's my concern with that place.
so good point. I'm staring at a stage that is created to look like a old record album with like a vibrant light around the stage. And I'm looking at that stage and I'm watching U2 perform, but then all the shenanigans going on in the background in those walls. That's a great question.
Right. So
Right,
I would be able to tune that shit out because I don't really care.
Yeah, you're there for the
I
music.
like when a band plays. Don't get me wrong. I like the lights. I like all that. But you know what?
Triumph.
I have no problem.
Bring me Triumph with the music.
But I have no problem going to a band and just seeing them fucking wail. You know what I mean? So like, I can see me being able to put the blinders on, focus on the band, and forget the noise behind it. But also, could I do that there? Because I think the noise behind it is a whole different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been there. I mean,
My
does that
brother
make sense?
just went and saw Fish
Okay.
out there.
Steve.
And he loved my brother Steve.
He went and saw. He just did the whole 4-day thing with Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling us
he's a
about
huge,
that.
Hey, happy 50th today to my brother Steve.
Steve, happy B-Day.
Happy birthday, bro.
so-
That was cool seeing him at Comerica, man.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
My brother is, we don't hang out a whole lot because our lives are kind of different and whatever, but it's
Being an
it's
Italian
that brother
family.
it's that brother thing, right? With him especially, we get together and it's like we just left off from last time we saw each other, and me and him have been cool since day one. And happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Absolutely. Like I said, we got a chance to talk to him for a bit at Comerica before that Pumpkins Green Day. Super cool. I love doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And at first he was like, no, I don't know. I'm like, well, you don't have a choice, bro. You're getting over it. Sit down.
He's the bass player, right? He likes to stay in the background a little bit.
Well, he said he
You
kind
know,
of just picked that up, though. He was like more of like a keyboard
Yeah, so
type of guy or
keyboards,
whatever.
right? That kid went to Tennessee as an 11-year-old and took second in a 1,500 person contest for it was keyboards at the time.
No shit.
Yeah, and the joke was, I'll just say it was a girl and she was a year younger than him that actually won it, but that's not how he said it. But for this show, that's how we're saying it. Okay, so, anyways, but he came in second, which I thought, and so he's.
Wow.
My dad got him started.
Nice.
In that, right?
so like.
Yeah,
As
So my
growing
father
up,
is a
What was
musician.
your exposure to music growing up? 'Cause obviously you love it.
Every party we went to, my dad brought his, his
Accordion?
the squish box, the accordion. That came if we were going
Your
somewhere.
dad played the accordion?
Yeah,
That is awesome.
you asked me about
Well,
my musical experience.
I'm a
growing up.
Polak, so I mean, accordion is very near and dear. I never
So,
played it, but
we
half
always
my
had-
dad's family did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we just got him a new one.
Did you really?
His first
That's
one.
awesome.
Yeah, he asked because he didn't know how to do it. I don't know how to do the Amazon. And, like, we don't even know if
I wanna
Amazon's
be
the place you should
recording.
buy one, right? So my brother, actually Steve, because he's the music one,
Right.
he figured it all out and he took care
That's
of it.
awesome.
But so we always had a piano or a keyboard in the house growing up with encyclopedias, which sucked.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
those.
then
In fact, I still have those in that room right there.
the wall of encyclopedias.
And I'm like, oh, they're gonna be worth some money someday, you
My-
know.
my
And you
mom-
look back, and it says, you know, like information that's been debunked for like 50 fucking years.
My mom used to grab an encyclopedia like this,
Yep.
go find something, write something about it for 5 minutes, and then and my mom actually gave a shit. So Which
There
was
ain't
nice.
nothing better than that.
yeah, but
So you always had music around the
yeah.
house.
So my
Some
father,
took to it, some didn't.
well, they tried to get me on the keyboard first.
Yeah.
That ended up with a broken key. My mom would put a timer on top of the piano and then turn it, and I was supposed to practice while this thing was going tick, 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 tick,
Right.
tick, 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 right? And I hated keyboards anyway.
Right.
So I'm like, I take my thumb, and I broke it. Now, my dad's doing concrete work, so when he gets home, he's not going to be happy when he gets home anyway. Then he's going to find out I broke one of the keys on his organ. That wasn't
Didn't
a good
work
day,
out very
guys.
well
No,
for
no.
you, huh?
Then my middle brother, Donnie,
Yep.
they skipped him. He says they skipped him for everything, so I'll just admit it.
All right.
They
So I got to
skipped-
bring this
Donnie,
up.
you're gone.
I got to
got
bring
skipped.
this up because
And then Steve took on it.
we went to, I don't know, I think we went to Black Crows and we're all like posting pictures and stuff, and Don's like, hey, thanks for the invite. And his brother, and I was like, everyone forgot about him. Like,
Right, so
and
yeah.
like, hey, thanks guys for the invite.
So
I'm like,
my-
hey, tell maybe him and Paul can go together.
We forgot. We forgot about him. Like he said, his whole life he's been forgotten about. We forgot. That's not what happened. I told you. I invited these two and Brad, and found out my other brother
Right,
was
right.
going. Right. We never thought to tell him that
We never
were-
excluded anyone. Fucking
Yes,
grow up,
yeah.
boys.
You got forgot, but it wasn't. Nobody forgot you. That's the way to get forgot without being forgotten.
That's
So
hilarious.
Donnie didn't catch on to the
No,
keys,
so he's-
and then
And
Steve
then, but
did.
Steve obviously
Yes.
ended up taking to
Yes.
the music side of stuff.
Right. So Steve now.
Well, so I have a question. Can Steve play the accordion?
You know what? I don't know that I've seen him play it, but I
Okay.
wouldn't bet against him.
Right. I would.
Yeah.
You know
If he's
what?
a keys
I mean, I've
guy,
never seen him
he
do
plays
it.
bass.
So if
I
he's
can
doing it, he's
imagine
doing it
picking it
secretly.
up and at least making some noise that sounds like a song. You know what I
But
mean?
he can play guitar and bass, and he likes to. I got some really cool shots of him that night at the Token.
That was cool. I
That
had
one
so much
speaker
fun.
had speaker, then an opening, and then speaker. I got to sit behind that and take shots through a perfect square.
You did
And I got to do some black and white shots and stuff
Yeah.
because he was standing right on the end.
Right.
So it's him, the bass, pointed up, and then a little bit of the background. You can see like the drums, and then the other two guys out front and stuff. So I got some really cool shots from that.
That night
nice.
was fun as hell.
That was a great night.
You know. And I said after that night, I never gave the Token enough credit.
The sound we talked about.
The
sound
sound
in that
is
place
great.
was really good.
The updates they've made where they actually separated, like,
you know what they did? Dude?
from the bar from the actual like venue, I'll say.
You know how you could tell the sound? I mean, the band sounded good too, but during one of the breaks, they played Baba O'Reilly, and the dude just jacked it up.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, but not
And
to
the
interrupt,
latest-
but speaking of Baba O'Reilly, Pearl Jam played that second to last
Did they
song
really?
in Indiana.
I think you posted it.
I haven't posted that yet. I
You
played
haven't?
the last song, Yellow Ledbetter, which was also sweet. But yeah, they played Baba O'Reilly.
Yeah. So Token sounded really good. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Or we
Token
were
is
we were
sweet.
really drunk holding Paul up.
No, yeah, we had to stop drinking just so we could keep track of Paul. I
guys-
tell you what, it was like going back to like our 20s.
Oh yeah.
I will never
That's
forget.
what I ran out of the parking lot to
I
jump
will
back in
never
the car.
forget when Paul got married.
That's exactly what our 20s were.
And never had a sister growing up, so I picked up a sister when I married Emily, and then I picked up a sister when Paul married Leah. But that night, I remember saying to her when they got married, "He's yours now."
You didn't.
He's
all yours.
We've been taking care of him at concerts and every place else, getting him from where he's yours now. And she's like, "Yeah, I know."
Paulie. There's so much to love about Paul.
Oh,
too.
he's awesome.
Yes, there is.
You know what?
He got really mad at me for a chalk line on his sidewalk. We were doing his next door neighbor's driveway, and we went to go fix the chalk line. Listen to this; you're gonna love this, right? He's got perfect grass.
Oh yeah,
everything's perfect.
Yeah, Svein did
everything's great. Right?
System.
My two kids go to fix the string line. They go to pull the whole thing out, and as they're pulling it out, the dust from the string line is falling onto the sidewalk, and it goes like 30 feet past his house across his sidewalk. And Paul walks up to me and goes, "Hey, are you guys going to clean that off?" And I think he's joking because it will just blow away, right? So about 2 hours goes by, and he's like, "No, seriously, are you guys going to clean this? You guys going to?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought you," because I'm on the tractor working.
Right.
He's yelling shit at me. "You're going to clean this up?" I think he's just trying to be funny, right? He was dead fucking serious.
Yep, dead.
He's an old man.
And you know what? I apologize. I should have known better because the way dude, you got the number 2 lawn in the world. I can't give you number 1. That goes to my cousin. But you got number 2.
Get off our land. So don't fuck with it.
You know, I know why that chair is out front for him to sit on to make sure no kids walk on that lawn.
Yeah, he's a good old man.
Or doggies don't shit on there.
So we touched on it. Forever 5.
You did homework. You made a list for us to talk about stuff. You like, Dave Rea's coming. I need to make a list.
I do this for every guest.
I'm just saying.
I'm
impressed.
It's an outline.
You're putting some work in.
It's bullet points.
Yes,
I don't like to stick to a script per
Neil,
se.
what do you do, Neil?
I'm a co-host.
You're just a co-host.
He's
Yeah.
the fucking
Do you
best
make lists?
co-host ever.
Do you do any lists or anything like that?
No. He sends it to me, and I don't
Try to
have
do a
any
little
notes on
comedy
here
before
at all.
No, absolutely.
I wrecked your flow.
No, you don't even reckon my flow at all. I mean, number 1, I would never have another co-host besides Neil. He's the fucking best. He's 100% committed. We have a fucking blast doing it.
Yeah. I'll be here.
And I will tell you, that from day 1 to now, Neil's growth on the show has been great.
I think that you mentioned it. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
But now I think you're fucking stalling because maybe his Forever 5 sucks. So I want to get into this.
Oh, my Forever 5. Oh,
so
God.
I want to. Is you 2 in your Forever 5? It's got to be, right?
Well, I think so. But do you want me to go from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
That doesn't matter. Whatever you.
Well, I just want to put the
there's
Beatles.
No. I would say the Forever 5 to me. There's no 1 or 5. These are just a collection of bands.
Yeah.
That I want to listen to.
Real quick. I'll give you the 5.
Fucking halfway dead.
Let's get the 5 right now.
I think number 1 are the Beatles for sure. Earlier when you asked me about growing up with music, my dad always had the 8-track tapes from the Cadillacs for our trips.
I love the Beatles
for our trips to New York.
I want to hold your hand.
So we grew up a Beatles family. We always talked about the
Beatles.
Beatles.
I know you don't.
I don't like the early.
We used to go looking for Rolling Stone fans.
I appreciate them. I understand it because it was like new and everything.
I love that
for the time, but
I
like the
it's the feeling from each song again, right?
I love once they've kind of grown a little bit, but I appreciate the early years, just like I appreciate MJ's early years. You know, Rock With You and all that shit.
Oh, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, hell yeah,
absolutely.
So who else you got besides Beatles?
Michael Jackson had people passing out at his concerts, and he wasn't even on the stage.
Insane.
You know, ambulances coming through the people while he hasn't even come up on the stage yet. People are passing out. Munich, the Munich.
And you always see in
Munich
in Japan.
Munich and Japan. Those are the two ones they show where there's people just falling over. Then he comes out and puts the glove on and shit.
And then half the crowd passes out at that point.
Pretty soon he's going to get rid of all of his fans, like to pay for next year. You know, but whatever. Anyways,
so we got Beatles. Who else?
So Beatles are on there for sure.
I feel like we're going to hear maybe some classic rock out of you because I feel like you were not stuck in your ways, but you knew what you liked.
Yeah.
So opening up to new stuff. I'm interested.
No. So I enjoy old Aerosmith. Okay, I don't know that they're in the top 5. I'm just saying the old stuff, like When the Lightning Strikes, those kind of
Toys
songs.
in the Attic,
All
that
that
shit.
I really, really enjoy.
That's what sold me on Aerosmith back in the day.
I don't really like Aerosmith, but that old stuff, good.
I can tell you one of the bands that gave me these feelings that we've been talking about with all the music artists and stuff. I remember when a Cars song would come on.
Oh, fucking Cars, love them.
I remember, Just What I Needed. When that song would come on, I'd be like, you just knew the words and you felt great. So I know they were somebody
really
that I
like the
loved when
Cars.
they came
and
out.
next year, he just passed in the last couple, 3 years.
He was
or
married
so,
to Paulina.
Paulina Porskova, yeah.
Yeah, who
Absolutely.
was I was a big fan of hers.
Yep.
but,
But I love the Cars, you know, and they're one of those ones that
I'm trying to think of
they
bands
weren't your
that,
typical rock
Yeah.
band, so they kind of bridged the gap from
Yeah.
all like
Trying to
kind of
think-
the weird stuff. You had the Cars, then you had rock.
I'll
right?
tell
'Cause
you a band that I came late to the game to.
Besides Pearl Jam?
Yep. Metallica.
Oh, okay.
All right, that was like the Master of Puppets days.
Right.
I wasn't too sure I was in it. And then when the Black Album came out and the opening to every tune was like, you know what's about to happen. It's awesome. And then I would go back and listen to the older Metallica stuff and then appreciate.
Then you're like, holy shit, this
Yeah,
is
and
the
then
really
the
good
VH1
stuff.
shows came on and they did the 3-hour monster special on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's 3 hours of Metallica with their psychiatrist.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. I haven't seen
The
it yet.
building that they would work in,
Yeah.
up in like San Francisco area, and it was their day-to-day grind, making an album and having to put up with the lead singer who wanted to
Hatfield.
leave for a year for
Yeah.
rehab, and Lars is into artwork now. He sold all his paintings at Tiffany's, $1 million paintings.
Yeah.
Like, just I'm learning about the band again, you know.
Right,
But
right.
that was incredible, and I was late to Bruce Springsteen. I'm not sure. I'm not going to put him on there for a top 5. I know I'm missing like Led Zeppelin and all those guys,
Sure.
but I'm trying to find bands that give me a great feeling.
Right.
I think.
Funny you mentioned the Cars real quick. Because
Yep.
on the way here, I heard, "You might think I'm crazy."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I heard that song, and when you said the Cars,
Yep.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And that made me think of the Cars. And I'm like,
And-
the Cars are
God.
pretty good.
But remember
listening to
the
music-
80s, Cars were huge. Their videos were amazing on MTV. Like,
I think
they were the ones that kind of took the whole
Yeah.
thing, and you know,
I
like,
believe they're in the Rock and
because a
Roll
lot of
Music
people
Hall of
didn't
Fame.
embrace the videos and all that shit, but the Cars kind of did it all right out of the gate. Remember him walking on the pool?
Oh,
He was
yeah.
walking on the water.
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
shit.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but
go ahead,
Cars, Metallica, and then
Hey, you know what? Hey, you're co-host. You're never interrupted.
you know,
I know, but-
yeah.
ahead.
A few concerts like I went to, Van Halen's up. Those types of bands that just have that twine in their guitar and the snares are different, just a little bit different.
Right.
I think those came across big to me, but
I think I always knew that you were a pretty big Van Halen fan.
yeah, I loved them like everyone else loved them.
Right.
I think back in the day. I mean, we even when Sammy came around, I thought Hagar 5150 album to me is. I mean, I love every one of them songs.
Oh,
man. Summer Nights
wasn't bad either.
right.
Yeah,
And so it's funny because I mentioned this on Facebook the other day. I'm like, David Lee Roth was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And like the first 3 albums, untouchable.
absolutely.
But by the time Hagar took over,
Yeah,
David Lee Roth was done.
those guys did great work together. Too,
Absolutely.
man.
And you know what? When Hagar came in, they actually did good work. And there's songs that hold up. There's some fucking killer tunes there.
When the beginning of Cabo Wabo comes on, I love that. That means it's party time.
right.
When that song comes on, you're like, okay, let's go.
That's a killer tune.
That tune coming
Yeah.
out is unbelievable.
And you know what I've noticed though, like, so I'm always a passive Van Halen fan. Like I was never passionate about him. So like, of course I love David Lee Roth, and then I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of good songs by Sammy Hagar. So I love them both. But you have so many like Van Halen fans that are
Oh,
like
yeah.
divided. Oh,
They got that band.
if it ain't David Lee Roth, it sucks. If it ain't them, he sucks. And it's like, actually, they're both pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give it a try.
Yeah, they had some talent for sure. Right?
And, but people get so
Damn.
like possessive about
Yeah,
their
certain
favorite
bands.
bands and artists, and it's
Yeah,
like,
people get mad when I tell them I like you too.
right?
Oh, wow. God.
Like I don't like, to be honest, I don't like U2 at all.
Okay, that's fine.
When I see them in concert, when I say that, I like the early Rattle and Hum,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like
40,
the
Gloria,
earlier stuff,
come on.
right? You know, the
Yeah.
whole, Sunday Bloody Sunday,
Sunday Bloody
all that really
Sunday.
early stuff.
That's a good song.
I Will Follow. We used to
And then
play
it was
that on
like-
the bus to soccer games in high school.
Dude, that's
We used to jam that.
when
tune.
everyone said, "Well, how did you learn about music back in the day?" That was a big thing. Was like
Yeah.
going on road
We
trips.
used to
and
have-
soccer, and everyone would have a
Another
song,
one,
and then you would
another
make
one
a
bites the
mixtape.
dust.
Yeah,
We would put that at the center of the circle while we were warming up before games.
Oh yeah, we had Boy Toy though. Remember by
Another one bites the dust.
Remember,
remember how big that song was?
we had this guy
in my
who
top
date.
five. I
He
love
was
that
like
fucking song.
the nicest dude. He made us this mixtape, you know, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to play this when you guys are warming up," and he puts it on, and it was.
Vanilla Ice.
No, worse. It was the wrestler. Who was the wrestler? Did that?
There was, it was all a wrestler.
Well, it was all like wrestler music.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like
Oh,
Boy
like that
Toy. It was
movie.
like Shawn Michaels. Like Boy Toy was the
Yeah.
song. And it comes on. I'll never forget. Dominic Vella runs over there to this dude and said, "You better get this fucking shit off right now." Because the other team's warming up and they're kind of like looking like, what the fuck is going on here? Because all this horrible...
Vision Quest shit.
Yes, it was awful. It was awful.
The movie Vision Quest was awesome.
That movie was awesome.
That was a great
Yeah, it
movie.
was.
The music for our fucking pregame.
You know what, dude?
was
Our
awesome.
whole era was the best. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Everything
And I'm
was
not
great.
gonna
You know,
say
it would have been
older
nice to
than
have
you,
a phone that could find a
'cause you
few
are,
more
but
girls in the neighborhood. You know,
had a
like
great...
today.
I loved your age. Because we just saw Peter Hook and the Light. And New Order, freaking Joy Division. Like, that's when you freaking...
That was a sweet
We-
show.
I was young.
I would not change. I would
I
not even
love
propose to change in my childhood with the kids' childhood.
You know
today,
what?
With
No.
all the, like,
Hell
Fuck
no.
no. And you know what the funny thing is? Everyone always talks about like Gen Xers and that, like because we're kind of the forgotten ones. But we've lived everything. We lived where you had to fucking do everything by paper or the fucking credit card of the
Yeah.
to the point where now we have fucking phones and shit.
Yeah.
We've done it all.
Yeah, you can put your phone.
Boomers can't like catch up on the new stuff. We can, but we've also lived the old stuff. So it's like.
Yes.
That's why when you see all this stuff,
checks.
it's like Gen Xers are like, "Fuck both of you,"
Right.
you know, like we got it.
Yeah, those
And
guys, they just drive up to a parking garage and,
And,
just
you
stick
know-
their phone next to some machine.
But you
and
know what?
The gate opens
Right.
for you. I'm like,
But you know what? In my mind, that goes.
Can't bring out
That's almost true for
You know what we used
music
to do?
too, right?
you know what we used to do
You
in those
know?
parking lots? We'd get a
Like-
ticket.
Oh,
We'd go in,
oh yeah,
right?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
I'm going with this,
yes.
right? And then before we would leave, we would walk over to the area where you get a ticket again, pull a ticket, $2. See you later.
Uh-huh.
We were there for like 8 hours.
I'm really good. I know.
Sorry about that.
No,
I owe
fucking
the city of Detroit $864.
Yeah, like...
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. So, what shows you got coming up? Anything?
Yeah, we got September 27th at Captain Joe's. That one's official. That is, I believe, 2 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So that is actually the day I get back from Florida.
Yeah.
So
No.
I get back. No.
We have. There'll be a show
I know
every
there will.
month
But I
until
get
next
back
April.
from Florida that day. The very next day, I have PJ Harvey downtown Detroit going to see
nice.
in concert, and then on Sunday, there's this band called Silly Goose out of Atlanta.
I think that you're making these band names up.
No.
I think that
They're at Lollapalooza.
you're doing this to get away from your house so you don't have to vacuum.
Bro.
Actually, no. I
Silly who?
vacuumed before you came over, so it
Yeah.
wasn't a fucking mess.
I'm saying
that was my job today. Whenever it's my podcast,
You had a
day, I
list?
got to take care of that shit, you know, which is fine. I love it.
All right.
But no, this band called Silly Goose out of Atlanta, they were at Lollapalooza. And after the first night, everything's done. I mean, it closes down by 11, 10:45, 11. Well, they had a U-Haul that they drove up from Atlanta, and they parked it in
Old school.
a closed gas station,
They didn't
and
come
they
with a
set up
bus.
all their shit on the top of the U-Haul
Yeah.
and put on a show for like 500 people. So the last night of Lollapalooza, I'm walking in. Well, here's these fucking guys that got bullhorns, and they're passing out phone numbers. Call this. We'll tell you where we're going to do the show tonight.
Yeah.
So these guys just released a new song, and they announced a tour. They're fucking playing Hamtramck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're playing Hamtramck. I don't even remember the name of the place, but it's September 29th. So I'm like, holy shit, I might be coming back. Saturday, I already got a concert. Sunday, I might be doing that. Monday, I'd have to go back to work. I got to deal with the family, but
The bands are still grinding.
still
U-Hauls,
grinding.
packing
Yeah.
it all on
you know
top.
what? You know who else is fucking
Moving
grinding?
around.
Two dudes. So make sure you check us out.
Yeah.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that shit. Follow us, subscribe. You're going to find some cool shit out there.
Hit the like button.
Hit it. Like, subscribe, share. There's nothing more you can do for us. It doesn't cost you anything. Dave, thank you for fucking being here, dude.
I had a great time.
We've been
Thanks,
talking
Dave.
about it for a while. I'm glad you came here.
I want to
That
apologize.
Black Crows show was something that actually... I'm a person that kind of like lives on memories
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. And
That's
that's
what
one
we
of
all
those
want.
things that's going to stick with me for a long time.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a great night.
Yeah.
A lot of us that really haven't really hung out together in a long time. Some of us not in a really long time. And it was just a great night.
It's nice when our paths do get to cross.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
And
thanks, man.
Thank
Couldn't
you.
have-
Thanks for
couldn't
having me,
Thank you
guys.
more.
Thanks,
And we
man.
were when we were at that Black Crowes concert before we went to Pizza Place. I know we mentioned it. I remember I went and grabbed that thing, and not that thing, or the not cart. Sorry, you can edit this, but
No, we're not going to edit shit.
No, this is
fucking
great. You're doing
I
awesome.
pulled it, and the pizza freaking.
Oh, you're talking about
Still.
the tray holder.
Oh, the tray hole. Yeah, the pizza.
Yeah.
The triangle tray, the tray holder that goes like this and it wobbles and the floor's not.
Yeah, what did
It was the floor's fault, Neil. It wasn't your fault, dude.
All right,
Listen to me.
We had like
You're
3
the
full
man.
pizzas in
You're the
that
man.
limo after
Yeah.
the show. It was like the best
things
thing.
all
We were, like,
wobble.
fucking
Yeah, so
Mowing
sorry
like
about
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that was
It's those
bad.
old
Dude,
school
that was-
sticks
I
and
do feel
the
bad
floor is
about
like, yeah, that wasn't your fault.
No, you know,
Alright.
actually, you know why
Thanks a
you
lot,
feel
guys.
bad? Because I'm going to tell you right now why you feel bad about that. Because dudes have anxiety. We think about shit that doesn't matter. Even after the fact, we can't change it.
I know.
So you know what
I-
helps
alright,
us with
I
that?
know. But I did feel bad.
Throw on some music.
Yeah.
Go get some help if you need to talk
some
to a
tunes.
therapist.
Yeah.
Some people may some people may turn the pot for their anxiety. I'm not going to argue anything that anyone does, but you know what? If you are having anxiety, go out and get it checked,
I
dude.
felt bad about
There's a thing to say about mental health. You know, we talk to Chris Malazewski all the time, and that's his big thing, right? So even though
that.
it ain't really our thing here, we'll finish with that.
Yeah.
If you're having a hard time, go get yourself some help. It's out there.
Yeah, rock.
Rea,
Rock.
thanks for coming, man. This has been a fucking blast, dude.
It's been
And
absolutely awesome.
I could see us having you on again. So,
All right. I'll try to have better jokes.
well, no, you did a good job.
I think you're-
But we'll check you out at one of your shows. I can't wait to see you. I know I've been waiting. and
September
talking about it for a
27th,
while.
in case anybody's
September
interested.
27th, Captain Joe's. Go check out Dave doing comedy. It's fucking hilarious. And if nothing else, you'll go have a good time. All right. Peace. Thanks, everyone.